It's time for David Heurtel. He is a former Quebec Liberal cabinet minister and political analyst. And this segment is brought to you by Guaranteed Industries. Are you ready for spring? We'll call Guaranteed Industries to learn about their energy-efficient Can-Air heat pumps and air conditioning systems, serving you since 1957. Contact us today at 514-342-3400. David, hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sue.
So I was surprised to hear this I guess, last-ditch show of support for Bernard Drainville in this CAQ leadership race. What do you make of this?
Well, voting begins tomorrow. It runs until Sunday, when we will have the announcement of who is our new premier. It's not nothing. I think the most important piece in that is Simon Jolin-Barrette. With all due respect, Sonia Bélanger, yes, she's health minister, but relatively unknown, not, I would say, a very influential member of the cabinet or caucus. Jonathan Julien, same thing. Yes, he is a cabinet minister from the Quebec City region, but he's already announced he's not running again.
Yep.
So it's not like this guy has a lot of influence. But Simon Jolin-Barrette, for sure, that is, I think, the biggest name to come out of cabinet in support of Bernard Drainville. But at the same time, Sue, Simon Jolin-Barrette obviously has always been the most strong vocal voice in the identity nationalist wing of the CAQ. And the fact that he did not run, that's what, for the leadership, that's what actually opened it up for Bernard Drainville. And so the fact that he did not run actually at the beginning of the race showed that maybe he didn't think he had enough support within the party for what he stands for and to eventually win. So, and again, I don't know what additional support Jolin-Barrette brings.
Yeah, that's it. That's the kind of the unknown, right?
Since Bernard Drainville already represents the more radical identity, nationalist, language, anti-immigration wing of the party, it's a crapshoot to see if this last minute show of force will actually change people's minds. Because again, what's the majority of the cabinet, the majority of the caucus who have expressed an opinion also are supporting Christine Fréchette. And also, more importantly, is all the polling that we've seen shows that Christine Fréchette, while not reviving in any real way the chances of the CAQ to survive the next election, she shows much more strength with the electorate than Bernard Drainville. So the thing is that today, with Jolin-Barrette's support, there's nothing to show that would change, that would show that Bernard Drainville at the head of the CAQ would show any sign of turning the corner. I
guess it's kind of interesting, though, because it does show a real split within the CAQ about,
Absolutely.
From the hardliners, to your point, Jolin-Barrette, but Drainville has already said, he'll be harder on immigration, and of course, Fréchette more conciliatory. Okay, well, we'll watch out for that. But speaking of polls, so the polls are showing that the Liberals are tied with the Parti Québécois in certain voting intentions, still trailing, though, when it comes to the Francophone vote. So, is there any way the Liberals can dig themselves out of that hole, do you think?
They can. Right now, yes. Statistically, there is a tie, but because of where the PQ's vote is, and because of the vote that is concentrated in the Montreal area for the Liberals, the PQ is still showing. If the election were held tomorrow, with the results that we know with the polling, the PQ would have close, if not a majority government. And so for the Liberals to even aspire to forming the next government, they're going to have to strengthen the Francophone vote in the regions. And for that, Charles Milliard is going to have to develop a brand. The problem is, ever since he declared for the leadership last December, he has yet to define himself. Can you name a single issue
No.
that Charles Milliard has taken a very strong position on? No, you can't.
No.
He in marketing terms, he doesn't have a brand, and the Liberals don't have a brand. He says, my priorities are the economy, it's culture, it's healthcare, it's education. Well, guess what? You're for everything. Yeah, nobody's against that. And so he hasn't yet been able to define himself with the electorate. And what has made basically his success so far is being quiet, because he's benefited
from
the slide from PSPP, since November. Remember, in October, the Léger in October had the PQ at 38%, Liberals at 21%. Now it's basically a virtual tie, statistical tie at around 33 apiece.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a strategy, is to just let the chips fall, because, I mean, the CAQ is imploding, Québec Solidaire is nowhere, and as you say, PSP is sliding.
There is a problem with that. Here's the thing. The only issue with that is that, yes, PSPP is sliding because he's developing more and more a Pierre Poilievre problem.
Yeah.
And the CAQ, the Liberal vote that has gone to the CAQ over the last 8 years seems to be coming back naturally. But the thing is that Éric Duhem is gaining strength in the region.
Yeah.
And so the enemy of the Liberals in the regions with Francophone Quebec is maybe not Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon or, of course, the CAQ as much as Éric Duhem, who is definitely gaining strength. And, just to go back to the CAQ race, a lot of people are thinking that Bernard Drainville has gone so far to the right during this race that he's closer to Éric Duhem now than François Legault.
Yeah. Yeah, well, okay, so we'll know by next Sunday, who are the real competitors. I wanted just to quickly talk to you about the by-election.
Yeah.
Because there's, of course, 3 by-elections, one in Terrebonne. Advanced polling began over the weekend. So how closely are you watching all of this?
Well, not as close as I would have if the Liberals had convinced that NDP member to cross the floor a few weeks ago.
Right.
Because now, I mean, the 2 Toronto by-elections are a foregone conclusion. The Liberals are going to win those 2. That means that Mark Carney is going to get his majority government. That wasn't the case when there were 169 Liberal members, and therefore the Terrebonne race was very important. Now, advanced polling over the weekend, the weather was horrible, and it's tough to get, motivated troops to get out the vote on the bloc side when, the stakes aren't that high. And so, on the other side, I think the bloc race also has some implications provincially, because I think the sovereignists, I think the Parti Québécois really wants the bloc to show strength here and show that, the slide in the polls that we've seen both with the PQ and the bloc over the last several months can be stopped with this win. But on the other side, the federal Liberals have put everything in this race. So it's going to be about turnout. And so it's a toss-up right now. Every observer on the ground right now is saying it is a toss-up. It's going to be very close. But organizationally, you got to say the Liberals have a very strong organization. Mark Carney's been in the writing, so and he is still to this day, Sue, provincially and federally, the most popular politician in Quebec.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah, and I thought I've been watching, too, the way Blanchette is trying to really make it about the high-speed rail and the sort of, the idea that the Liberals just spend money hand over fist, which, of course, always does resonate with Quebecers. So
it does resonate, but at the same time, it's for a by-election like this one, there's going to be depressed turnout. It's always organization that's going to be the key. So yes, he is trying to create a wedge issue with this trade, but I mean, it's not done. I mean, it's not like everybody's been expropriated. You know what I'm saying? There's a specter. He's playing the fear card, but it's not necessarily that.
It's not enough.
Is it enough?
Yeah.
When you're looking at poll after poll after poll telling you that the most important issue for all Quebecers, including those in Terrebonne, are affordability.
100%. All right. Thanks so much, David. Great talking to you.
Great to be with you, Sue.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back
2010s, the decade.
to the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd,
And more. All your decade-defining favorites all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.